Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in to Code Black Facts. You guys know I love and appreciate you. So I wanted to come to you guys and present this particular article that I read because I thought this was just so sad. And this happens a lot, and it's not talked about within the black community. I do know that most of the crimes that are committed against black girls and women. Now, I won't say most. I would say that the crimes that are reported, because when someone is raped, the only way that we will know how many people this has happened to are from those who have went to report it. And a lot of times it goes unreported. All right, it goes unreported. And as it relates to like black boys and men especially, there is an epidemic of young boys and men who do not report being raped. All right. And so these numbers are from the FBI. I'm going to present to you guys some statistics. I'm also going to read you guys the story. But statistically, according to the FBI statistics, those who commit these particular crimes, as you guys can see on the screen, and I have to use my words wisely because YouTube is not fond of talking about these particular topics and using certain wordings, and I don't want to get my content flagged or anything. So I got to be careful with the wording that I use. So you guys just please follow me and just catch on. All right. So um, a lot of these types of crimes are not. They go. First of all, they don't get talked about. There are no when great is being talked about. I guess I can just say sexual assault. When sexual assault is being talked about, you mainly see the majority of women and girls. All right. You do not see men or young boys bringing awareness to this. And this is why I'm reporting on this, because you know in order for me to present the right numbers and the right percentages, everybody, if when something like this is happening, it has to be reported. And if it's not reported, it goes unreported. And I think that when it comes to uh, girls and women, there is, girls and women, they report a lot, but a lot goes unreported as well. So let me just jump into, actually, let me do my intro, and then I'll come back with the full story.
For tonight?
I'm rooting for everybody black. I am betting on black tonight.
Lovely. You look great.
Welcome to Code Black Facts, where we talk about all things black, to include news and viral videos, mental health, self-love, self-care, self-development, black women issues, crime stories, and black history. If you are interested in any of these topics, please subscribe to my channel, like, share, and don't forget to comment below. Thank you.
They say it's a black thing, run deep in the roots. Blacker the berry, baby, the sweeter the juice.
And we are back. Okay, so I'm not going to read this article. I will post it in my description box if you guys would like to read it. It's a very short article, so I'm just going to paraphrase. But basically, the gentleman that you see on the screen here, he was sentenced to life. And the reason why is because it was 3 generations of women and girls, well, actually just girls, children, that he sexually assaulted and molested. And so basically, he it was first reported when he sexually assaulted an 8-year-old girl. And so when they reported it, the mother came and said, oh, well, he did it to me too when I was a child. And then when they went to trial, there was another one of his victims that came out, because Mind you, when you go to trial, you guys, trial basically means that the person is denying that they did it. They're saying that I didn't do that. Otherwise, he would have just pled guilty and that he would have been sentenced then and then went to jail. But no, he went to trial with it because he was trying to beat it. Which, that is really just disgusting. It's disgusting. You got your old ass, okay? His old, and excuse my language, you guys, but this is a trigger for me because, you know, we got to do a better job at protecting our children. We have to do a better job. I don't know the circumstances. I don't know, the living situations. I don't know. But the article didn't read that he did it to his daughter. It read that he did it to other women's daughter, the women that he was dating daughter. Okay? For single women out there who are dating, and I know there's practically nothing, that, I mean, other than, of course, different um paying attention to different things that are going on with this person before you invite this person around your children. But even the people that you invite around your children, you don't know, because men or women, um, who do these types of things, they don't have a certain look. It be the ones that you least expect. So, some of the things that you can do is watch how they react around you. Don't ever leave your children around somebody unattended. That's number one. That's number one. Because family members will do it too. Don't ever leave your children around the people you barely know, have is just getting to know. I don't care if they have children, because a lot of people make the mistake of, I'm gonna send my kids over to somebody's house to spend a night, but the uncle, the big brother, the cousin, the little brother, the sister, the big sister, whoever is over there, and they are engaging in these types of things. You have to be very, very careful when you have, especially small children. See, it's one thing to send your 14-year-old, your 15-year-old, and your 16, because they can still become victims of this. But at least, they are old enough to say something. And we need to be having conversations. I don't have children of my own. I have nieces and nephews. And I'm always having a conversation with them. And thank God that my brother, which is their father and their mother, they do not agree with allowing them to go stay at people's homes because of stuff like this. It has nothing to do with their friends or their friends' parents. They have great friends. They have, the parents of their friends are great, but you just never know. One of my nieces, she has a friend, and her friend has three brothers, two younger ones and one older. And again, my niece, she's a young girl. She's, she just turned 17. She was 16 at the time, but she, was feeling some type of way because she had came to stay with me, and she wanted to go and visit her friend. She was trying to pull the okie doke, because typically the answer would be no, and with me it's still no. And I told her no. I'm like, no, and she's like, well, why can't I? I'm 16, I'm gonna be 17, da, 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 da. And I'm like, no, I don't know them people like that. Me and the mom, no, 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 no. And again, this is for her own protection. Now, if the young lady want to come over here, that's fine. But I bring those examples up because, you guys, we have to do that. We can't just be so easily to trust people because these people look like they're okay. They look like they wouldn't do something like that, because you don't know. You ain't met the rest of the family. You don't know which uncles is coming around there. You don't know their criminal backgrounds that's coming around there. You don't know. Now, my niece, she's at an age where she can speak up. We have these conversations. Hey, if this happens, I don't care if you're at school. I don't care if you working. I don't care if whatever. You know, let me know. Let your father know. Let your mother know. Let whomever know. Have those opening, engaging conversations, and make those conversations. Don't make them to where they're gonna feel scared to come and talk to you about something like this if it happens. That don't make it to where they're going to feel like they're going to get in trouble if they come and talk to you. Another story, let me pull up raw the give me a second. I'm going to pull up uh the basketball wives. Her name is Ross Reed, and her son, what is her name? Ross, I think it's her son, Reed Ross. Yeah, it's wait. Royce Reed is her name. Royce Reed. So Royce Reed has been in the this is Royce Reed, the White Howard, the basketball player. The basketball player, Dwight Howard, his one of his baby mom, he has many, but one of his baby mamas is basketball wives Royce Reed, and they have a 14-year-old son, and she recently had to turn herself in and go to jail because her 14-year-old son had sexually abused a younger child. So he's for Royce Reed's son, Royce and Dwight Howard's son. He's 14, and he sexually abused I believe, a 6-year-old child who told his father Royce's Reed was dating a man, and the man had a child, a boy, and they thought, he thought they, how you bring your kids when you're dating somebody, you bring the kids together and stuff like that. Again, you got to be careful with stuff like that because you don't automatically think that somebody's kid is going to be out here doing stuff to your child, but it happens. And a lot of times it goes untalked about, ignored, things like that. So it ended up getting reported, and because Roy's son had already had a previous incident where he had did something like this to a girl, he was getting help. He was, getting help for it. And let me see if I can pull up. Hold on, guys. Let me see if I can pull up one of the articles. I'm not going to read over it. I'm just giving you a paraphrasing. BT. I guess I can click on this one. So, yeah. Yeah. So she's dating this man. Royce is dating this man, and they're bringing their kids together. And Royce's Reed's son and Dwight Howard's son, he is sexually assaulting this young boy. And so the young boy ends up telling his father, which is Royce's boyfriend, that what was going on. And so, of course, they ended up reporting it. And then they come to find out that the little boy had done it before, but he did it to a girl, and it was reported, and he was getting help for it. And he was getting like mental help for it. And this is the thing, you guys. Look, I'm going to tell you, no mental health professional, no therapist is going to tell you guys this because they can't. They can't. But I can. I worked in the field. I know these things. You can't tell somebody that there's no help for their disease. And the reason why in some, not all, some cases, it is referred to as a disease because in some cases it's the mental anguish behind it it's like a mental issue behind it, a mental disorder behind it. And because her son is so young, it may or may not. I'm not his counselor. I'm not his therapist. I don't know. I can't speak on that, but from my professional experience, what I will say is that a lot of times it's something like this that is learned, but see, he's done it before and he knows that it's wrong. He knows that he's not supposed to do it. So the fact that he continues to do it lets me know that it's a bigger issue there, and that it could potentially be, because he's so young, it could potentially be a a mental disorder. It could be. Now, the thing about it is, when it comes to things like this, there is no amount of therapy that can be done to get somebody to stop doing something like that. If somebody likes children, they like children. there are things that they can do to suppress those feelings. And one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about within the mental health field is that medication only soothes things. It puts people to sleep. It makes people feel, that where there's certain medications that bring down their energy. So where they may be up full of energy, it brings the energy down. But there is no medication that anybody on this planet can take other than making them go to sleep a lot that will keep their brain from, or the desires connected to their brains from desiring to assault somebody. There's no amount of medication that can be done. The only thing that can be done is to help them find the source of it and then deal with the source. And then even when you do that, again, it's a lifetime thing. You can't take a pill and cure something like that. It doesn't work like that because it's in the mind. And because it's in the mind, you can't physically see it. You can only see it after the action, the behavior that is connected to that has been done. So that's the danger in this. And so again, that's another reason why when it comes to, protecting our young kids, our young boys and girls, we have to really do a better job. And a lot of us don't know because this is not talked about. This is not, especially with young boys. Let me go into some statistics here. So I was able to go to the FBI site and look up the statistics as it has to do with sexual assault. And so the way that it's broken down is you have, let me see if it'll do it this time. You have violent crimes. It's broken down by violent crimes. And what is considered a violent crime is murder, manslaughter, sexual assault, robbery, and aggravated assault. Those are all violent crimes. Within the violent crime category, you have what is called sexual assault. Those are the numbers that we're going to be looking at. All right. So when it comes to all violent crimes that are committed, 44% that are committed by Black people, and 44% are committed by white people. All right. When it comes to the victims of all violent crimes, the victims of all violent crimes are 56% white and 38% Black. Now, as we go into the one of the categories of all violent crimes, which is sexual assault, this is what we're going to look at. This is what's on the screen. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, so as you guys can see, I selected sexual assault here, and then it's broken up by, offender versus victim. And so those who commit sexual assault, 59% are white. Now, as you guys can see on the screen, they don't have Hispanic. Hispanic is not in the category section. And the reason why is because they have basically most Hispanics, they are considered white. They put them in the pool of white. So this is why you only see white, Black, unknown, Asian, American Indian, or Alaskan. Because I was looking for it and I'm like, what's going on here? And so the white percentage that you see is both white and Hispanic. So I just want to say that. So 59% of those who commit aggravated assault are white, and 27% are Black. Now, within the 59 and 27%, you have, let's go on down here. You have the victims. The victims, 72% of the victims are white, Hispanic, because that's just one big category that they dumped everybody into. And then 20% are Black. And then if you want to do let's do by sex. Let's see if it'll load up. Okay. All right. So because this is, All right, so let's see. Let's do it by sex so you can see, because I want to show you guys something. Um, so go back to sexual assault. And then I'm going to do percent, and then we're going to do sex. So I want to show you guys these graphs, right? Because this is really the real reason why I wanted to do this video, other than reporting on that disgusting man. But so the offender, those who commit the crime, 93% of those who commit the crime of sexual assault are men. 4% are women. Now, those who are the victims, all right, who are the victims of sexual assault, 90% are women and 10% are men. Now, you guys, this is everybody. This is white, black, whatever, because this isn't broken down by race. But even if you were to break this down by race, I'm sure the numbers will be probably pretty much around the same. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because this just proves my point. I know that there are more men who this happens to, but I did a video the other day and I talked about how sexual assault in prisons is so common and it goes unreported because men do not report when it happens to them. Typically, you don't find men walking the streets who are being sexually assaulted. That's not typically what you do. You don't find grown men walking the streets, grown, able-bodied, strong men walking the streets who this happened to. You typically don't find that. What you find when it happens to grown men is that you got to go into the prison because it's very common in the prison for men to get sexually assaulted by other men. And the numbers that of reported cases do not get reported. And of course, there's a lot of stigmas that go to that because, number one, if you are in jail and you do something and something like that happens to you, it could possibly, get you killed, because that's going to add on a sexual assault crime to the probably already crimes that the person has in jail, and you can get more charges added onto you in jail. And sometimes when that type of a charge, because that's a very serious charge, when that type of a charge is added, people get murdered. And then if you tell on somebody, y'all already know what they do to snitches. Snitches are not looked fondly upon when they go to jail. So that's another element. And then once they come out of jail, I mean, they're not going to go back to their girlfriends who may be waiting on them or girls that they're meeting and tell them that that's happened to them. Is not, see, that doesn't happen. And this is why these numbers are like this. So any men who come on here talking about, oh, well, there's a lot of young boys and men who are not reporting it, who this has happened to, but these numbers are not reflecting it. Well, they're not reflecting it because they're not reporting it. And in order for it to get reported within these numbers, reflected within these numbers, it has to be reported. It's that simple. And I've already done a video on how, these types of crimes within Black men and boys, is they're not talked about. There are no awareness to any of these. It's like, and like I said, the only way this can get fixed within the Black community is if you have Black men who this has happened to, your Kirk Franklins, your Commons, your so many others who this has happened to, who have had large platforms. They could have easily came out and spoke about this, but they did not. I mean, they spoke about it, but it was nothing formed for young boys. And this is the thing, when you are a child, no matter, whether you're a young boy or young girl, when it gets reported, it's reported. Now everybody gets involved. The police get involved, social services get involved, everybody gets involved, and there's all types of help and resources. But when you a man and something like this happens, then what? Yeah, you can go to counseling and stuff like that, but you're gonna have to have the money, you know, and and that just goes for the Black community in general. A lot of people are more likely to spend money on health as it relates to if they got to go to the doctor, because we already know if you don't have health insurance, it's expensive. So what are you going to do? Are you going to spend your money on going to the doctor if you get sick, or are you going to spend your money on mental health? Most people spend, if they got to choose, mental health goes out the window. So that's another reason why, a lot of times something like this can happen. You got a lot of people out here walking around broken, mentally messed up because of whatever has happened to them, and they just passing that down from one generation to the next. And this is why I come back to this story right here, because this man did it. First of all, the fact that her 8-year-old daughter was even around this man, if it happened to her, I ain't gonna say if it happened to her, according to her, he did it to her. Why would you even trust this man around your daughter? What you thought this man was gonna do? He was just gonna it was gonna disappear. And this is why I have to hold the mother accountable for what her daughter has gone through, and what her daughter will continue to go through. Because I can tell you right now, you guys, again, I can't stress this enough. When something like that happens, it's a lifetime of dealing with this. It doesn't go away. Can you, as a victim of it, are you able to move on and have a healthy, life? Absolutely, you are. Absolutely, you are. Now, if you are a offender of something like this, then life is going to be very hard, and as it should be. Okay, um, but if you are when you are a victim of this, there is a lifetime of therapy, because triggers will not stop coming. You can see stories like this, and it's going to trigger you. Something like this may happen, and you hear about it, and it's going to trigger you. Certain movements that somebody may do may trigger you, because you may think back to the time when it happened to you. It's a lifetime of dealing with this, and being able to, because you can't ever really get rid of it, but being able to cope with this, with something like this, and when it happens. And this is what that 8-year-old girl and the mother and the other victim and these are the ones that came forward. There's no telling. This man has been doing this for a very long time. There is no telling how many other victims it could be, including young boys. Including young boys. And I can guarantee you, if he has done something like this to young boys, the young boys are not going to come forward, because a lot of times the father, he just want to go ahead and do the street justice. And it's like, I'm gonna do the street justice. I'm not gonna report. I'm just gonna do the street justice. And then if the father gets caught, now the father is, having to say why he did it, which means he would have to reveal that he made his son do something like this. A lot of times it just doesn't get reported, because what man wants to go sit in front of a courtroom of people, or a group or any people, and tell them that this man had his son doing all kinds of different things? The woman don't want to do it, but again, the reporting of it, as you guys can see, it gets reported when it's the women will report, young girls will report. Now, not all the time, but as you can see, it does get reported, because 90% of the victims are women. So we know that women are reporting this. Now, like I said, there's still a lot that goes unreported. There is still a lot that goes unreported. But again, when it comes to young boys and men have to do a better job at creating a space for this to be reported. Creating, because again, when it happens to a young boy and a young girl experience, even though the basics of the experience are the same, the young boy going out into society and having to, say something like that or tell people that it's different when it comes to women. Because now, his manhood has to be questioned. And even, let's say the boy, let's say it happens to a young boy and then he grows up to be LGBTQ. Now there's a stigma that's to that, because people say that those, when it's a man that's in the LGBTQ, that a lot of times it's because he's been sexually assaulted. So that's another reason why it doesn't get reported, because people don't want to come out and say, oh well, yeah, this happened to me, but that's not the reason why it happened. I'm not LGBT, a male that's LGBTQ, because I was sexually assaulted. But there is a correlation with that. It is, which I also think needs to be looked into. But anyways, I was not meaning for this video to be long. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please pass this message along. This is very important. Please do not ignore this. If you have children, please talk to your children. Protect your children. Don't let nobody around your children. No boyfriends, no girlfriends, until they have checked every box. Criminal background checks if you have to. Whatever it takes. And I know most of the time people are not going to do that, but again, just don't have your kids around people that you don't know like that, or that you're getting to know, um you know and you're not around. This man should have never been able to go that long and do that much damage, because it's some damage that has been done here. And it's unfortunate, because this young 8-year-old girl that he did it to, and her mother and the other woman, my heart cries for those young girls. It cries. It cries. All right, guys. So go ahead and leave your comments in the comment box below. And until next time, we'll talk soon. Bye.